Welcome back. Today, in pushback against the bitter cold winter that's going on out there, I found us this cozy living room with a fireplace. Today, we'll look at a word that we hear all the time these days. We'll take a look at an artist proficient in more than one medium, as many of them are actually. A story that children of every generation might enjoy, a song that came about by happenstance, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa. This aqua cup doesn't survive very well against the green screen. My favorite cuppa, by the way, is usually either a Colombian or Pacific medium roast black. What's yours? In any case, grab yours, sit back, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for February 18th. February 18th is the 49th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 316 days remaining to the end of the year, 317 in leap years. Today's word is algorithm. Algorithm is a noun that refers to a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for problem solving, completing a task, or performing a computation. Algorithms are often used in computer programming, mathematics, and decision-making processes. Some example sentences could be, the social media platform uses a complex algorithm to recommend content based on user preferences, or computer scientists aim to design efficient algorithms to improve search engine performance, or the teacher explained the Euclidean algorithm for calculating the greatest common divisor of two numbers. Who knew such a thing existed? But it does. I looked it up. The word algorithm comes from the name of a Persian astronomer and mathematician, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, who lived around 780 to 850. He wrote many texts, including a foundational text on algebra. A related word, also named after al-Khwarizmi, is algorithm, which is an Arabic system of numeration. By the way, I learned back in grade school that these numbers that we use, 1, 2, 3, and so on, these are Arabic numerals. The Arabic numbering and counting system is based on tens, also known as the decimal system, as compared to a duodecimal system, which is based on 12s. I think maybe they're not teaching that much anymore, but maybe they should. First known use of the word algorithm is most likely around the 1230s, not 1230 o'clock, but the 1230 year mark in terms of arithmetic procedures. Use of the word algorithm in the broader, more modern sense of a step-by-step computational process comes along with the advent of computer science, so the context in which we usually hear it now is fairly recent. By the way, given that the word algorithm refers to a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for solving a problem, you can think of such things as following a recipe, or tying your shoes, or solving a Rubik's Cube as ways of using algorithms, since all of these rely on a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for solving a problem. Algorithm. Today's word algorithm was requested by YouTube viewer at ddally8851. Thanks, ddally. And if you have a word you'd like to find out about, drop it in the comments. We'll dig it up. And with that, this is the birthday of Louis Comfort Tiffany, born February 18th, 1848. He's known as a stained glass artist, but he started out as a painter. You can definitely see the painterly influences in his stained glass work. Lovely work. Mr. Tiffany lived to the age of 84. On February 18, 1885, Mark Twain published The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Huck Finn first appeared in the book The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Tom and Huck were a couple of adolescent-aged boys in the mid-1800s. Quite the adventurers, those two. Definitely worth the read. Ray Charles was on the road touring in the mid to late 1950s. He was contractually obligated to play a 4-hour show. One evening, late in 1958, they got done, ran out of songs about 12 minutes short of the 4-hour mark. So he improvised, playing, singing, whatever fell out of his mouth, and oh my goodness, the crowd loved it. This was the beginning of the song What I Say. He began to play it in other concerts after that, and everybody loved it. They loved it so much that he called up the recording company and said, "We need to record this. I sing it when I'm out on tour and people are going crazy over it." So they did. Got in the studio and recorded it. He'd already enjoyed some success in the R&B genre and had been touring since 1954. But What I Say was the magic tickle-lock that broke him into mainstream pop. Netted him his first gold record, What I Say by Ray Charles. Link in the description. Never a dull moment here in the Bowers Research Office, but plenty of fascinating rabbit holes. While I was researching today's word algorithm, I came across a quote by a writer named Alexander Gelfand. I decided to look him up, and the first thing I found was a Soviet mathematician named Alexander Gelfand. A mathematician talking about algorithms certainly seemed plausible, but Soviet mathematician Alexander Gelfand lived from 1906 to 1968, and the quote was from an article published in 2007, well after his time. So I thought, well, Soviet mathematician Alexander Gelfand might have considered such a question if it had been a thing during his lifetime, but he probably didn't say this. So I kept looking, and sure enough, there's a writer named Alexander Gelfand. Alexander Gelfand. Good writer, quite prolific. I put a link to his website in the description. Here's the quote now. If you teach a computer to write a piece of music by feeding it an algorithm, have you composed the resulting piece, or has the computer? Alexander Gelfand. A lot of work being done by AI these days, and I think there are arguments for both sides of the question that he poses, but I'll leave it there for now. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have a great day, stay as warm as you can, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.